Hello, I'm Bernard Norcott-Mahany. I work at the Blueford branch of the Kansas City Public Library. April is National Poetry Month, so I'm reading a poem a day. And because this is an Olympic year, I am reading odes generally by a man named Pindar, who wrote victory odes or epinician odes for people who won at the Olympic Games and at other ancient athletic Pan-Hellenic events. So without further ado then, I will get started with today's poem, which is Olympia number 8. So this is for Alkimedon of Aigina for his victory in boys wrestling. So Pindar did not just write for adults, but there were also boys events. We're largely talking about like young teens is what we're talking about for this event. In this poem, because of Aigina, so Aigina is an area, an island off the coast of Attica. It's from time to time it's under Athenian control or not under Athenian control. At the time that he wrote this work, which was in 460 BCE, Aigina was under attack from Athens. And the island is the birthplace of the hero Ajax and the hero Telamon, both of whom are mentioned in the Iliad. Ajax is one of the characters. Telamon is his father. His father Telamon had fought alongside Hercules and had been in an earlier attack on Troy. So Aegina is actually sort of a somewhat important place as far as myth goes, and Pindar chooses to focus specifically on the figure of Aeacus and his descendants. So his descendants include his sons Peleus and Telamon, and Peleus' son is Achilles, Telamon's son is Ajax, and then Achilles has a son named Neoptolemus. So all of these are sort of like alluded to because of the place of Alcimedon, who won in the boys wrestling. Neoptolemus also would be fairly young at the time that he actually showed up at Troy, and so he might also be chosen for that reason, young hero for a young victor. So without further ado, Olympia, poem number 8 for Alkimedon of Aigina, winner in boys wrestling. Mother of the gold-crowned games, Olympia, mistress of truth, where seers interpret burnt offerings and test the bright thunderer Zeus if he has any word about men who yearn in their hearts to win great glory and a breathing space after toil. In return for reverence, men's prayers are accomplished. O wooded place of Pisa by Alpheus, welcome this company and wearing of garlands. His glory is great forever, whom your glittering prize attends. To each man comes different goods, and many are the paths of success, when the gods give help. Timosthenes, fate has allowed your race to Zeus for its own good. He made you renowned at Nemea, and Alkimedon by Cronus' hill, an Olympian conqueror. He was lovely to see, and his acts did not dishonor his beauty. When he won in the wrestling and proclaimed his fatherland, long-oared Aegina, their savior right is honored at the side of Zeus, the stranger's god. Most among men, when the balance is heavy and heavily sways, it is hard to judge with clear head at the right moment. An ordinance of the immortals placed this sea-girt land as a holy pillar for strangers from everywhere. May time rising ahead not weary of doing this. A Dorian people watch over it from Aeacus' time, him Leto's son and Poseidon who rules afar, when they started to make a crown for Ilion, called to share the work at the wall. For it was fated that when wars are awakened in fights and destruction of cities, it should breathe up angry smoke. 3 yellow snakes, when the town was just built, jumped on the wall. 2 fell down, and straightway in amazement threw up their lives. But one leapt with a cry. Apollo pondered the adverse size, and forthwith cried, By the work of your hands, hero, Pergamus shall be taken. So says a vision sent to me from Cronus' son, loud thundering Zeus. Not without your sons. It shall be broken in the first and third generations. So spoke the god truly, and drove in haste to Xanthus, and the Amazons, the fine horsewomen, and to Ister. And the trident lifter hurried his fast chariot to the sea isthmus, and sent away Aeacus hither on golden mares, while he went to watch over the ridge of Corinth, famous for feasting. But no joy will stay the same among men. If for Melesius I have run back in my song to the fame he wins from young athletes, let no sharp stone of hatred strike me. I will tell, too, of this joy he won himself at Nemea, and that later he fought with grown men in the fighting match. Who knows for himself will more easily teach. Not to learn first is folly, since untried men have less weight to their minds. But here is the master, to say beyond others the right way for the man to go who would get from the holy games his heart's desire of glory. Now, as a gift for him, Alkimedon wins his 30th victory. God favored him, neither did he lack manhood. On the limbs of 4 boys, he put away from him the hateful return, the dishonoring tongue, the secret bypath, and into his father's father he breathed strength to resist old age. A man forgets death when all goes well, but I must wake memory and tell this final triumph of the hands of the Blepsiadae. Now on their brows a 6th wreath is fastened from the leaf-garlanded games. Dead men also have a part in rites lawfully done, nor does the dust hide from them their kinsman's fond delight. Iphion has listened to Hermes' daughter, good tidings, and will tell Callimachus of the bright ornament at Olympia, which Zeus gave to their race. May he consent to give good upon good and keep away the stabs of sickness. I pray that in bestowing glory he will not let doom waver in purpose, but bring a life without sorrow and strengthen them and their city. So that was Olympia, poem number 8, for Alkimedon of Aigina, who apparently was quite successful if he had won 30 victories, not 30 at the Olympic Games, but all around, sometimes actually competing against men. So he must have been fairly impressive, and he is compared to his illustrious ancestors, or the ancestors of the leaders of Aegina. Aeacus, who fought alongside Heracles and helped take Troy, and Neoptolemus, who also helped to take Troy. Ajax, the one who's so famous in the Iliad, Ajax, of course, died before Troy was taken, and so he is the one who's left out in that count. So I will see you tomorrow with another poem.